Start in. Okay. Right. Now in today's class we will start with calorimetry. So in today's class we will start with calorimetry. Your calorimetry deals with, okay, it is basically study of, okay, it is basically study of, okay, thermodynamic state variables. Okay, it is basically study of thermodynamic state variables. Okay, mainly we will study only two variables. Okay, that is your heat energy and temperature. Okay, so your temperature calculation is one part, and your second part that you are going to calculate is your heat energy. Okay, so whatever you do, you are going to calculate these two values in calorimetry. So we need to understand, okay, calorimetry in detail, but our IIT JEE portion is basically limited to temperature calculation and heat energy calculation. Okay, now if you look at the word calorie, okay, 1 calorie is basically, it is unit of energy. Okay, because when we look at calories, okay, many people while doing exercise they just say we are burning the calories. So if we are using the word burning the calories, indirectly we are utilizing some of our energy. So your calorie is unit of energy, but in physics we will study in terms of joules. So your 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. Okay, this joules energy is SI unit. Okay, this joules energy is SI unit, and calorie is, okay, it is CGS unit. Okay, calorie is CGS unit and joules is SI unit. Now initially people, why we are defining two units means, initially people thought, okay, heat is different, okay, energy is different. Okay, this is what initially people thought. Okay, so for heat they have defined, energy in terms of calories initially. Okay, later people gave your energy in terms of joules. Okay, but both are related to each other and their relation is given like this. Okay, now whatever energy you take, okay, whatever energy you take, that energy will basically be in three forms. Okay, that is your potential energy, your kinetic energy and your mass energy. Okay, whatever energy you take, that will be in these three basic forms. Okay, so potential energy, kinetic energy and mass energy. Now your heat energy belongs to vibrational kinetic energy of molecules. Okay, your heat energy is vibrational kinetic energy of molecules. So your heat energy is vibrational kinetic energy of molecules. Now if you have studied in thermal expansion in the introduction what is meant by heat and all, okay, that will if you look into that video you will get the clarity. Now at temperature greater than 0 Kelvin, okay, that is absolute scale. Okay, so there will be vibrational kinetic energy. Okay, there will be kinetic energy to the molecules. This kinetic energy is nothing but your temperature, okay, related term, and if there is temperature obviously there is heat energy. Okay, so this is your basic idea of calorimetry. Okay, now if you keep these things in mind, okay, so this is your basic introduction, okay, so this is what you have. Now, okay, keep this point in mind, and 1 calorie is 4.2 joules. Now next, what is that I am going to do is, okay, I am going to, okay, explain, okay, why we are studying this calorimetry and all, okay. So now, how is that you know, okay, heat and energy are same, okay, how heat and your mechanical energy are related to each other, okay, this we need to understand first, okay. So now, how these two are related to each other, okay. Now how these two are related means, okay, through an experiment, okay. Obviously you will, in physics, for everything you will have an experiment, then we'll derive some logical explanation, then give some maths and justify it. So through experiment like this, okay, through an experiment, okay, what is the experiment, I'll explain now, okay. So through experimentation, okay, what is that, how heat energy and mechanical energy are related to each other means, okay, to explain that, what is that you can do is, okay, if you take a system like this, okay, let us say you have a pulley, attached to this there is one more pulley like this, okay, and attached to this, let us say there is mass m, and attached to this there is a churning machine like this, where in which you have some okay, axial kind of thing, where in which when mass is going down, let us say it is rotating like this. Now, okay, if you look at this experiment, okay, if there is no heat energy loss, okay, if there is no heat energy loss, okay, if this drops down by h height, okay, now let us say it is pulley 1, let us say it is pulley P2, okay. Now let us say there is, okay, a pulley kind of arrangement here, and let us say there are 3 pulleys like this. Now to this experiment, if I am doing energy conservation equation, okay, your energy conservation equation is, your potential energy is lost, okay, your energy is lost when this is coming down, okay. So this energy loss is given by mgh, okay. Now this energy loss will be distributed to kinetic energy of this block, okay, this is for block, kinetic energy of block, plus for pulley you will have rotational kinetic energy, okay. So Ke of, okay, pulley P1 plus Ke of kinetic energy of pulley 2, okay. This kinetic energy is because of rotation, okay, that is half I omega square, actually if you write it, okay, this is half I2 omega square plus kinetic energy of this pulley P3, okay, that is half into I3 into omega square, okay. For this part your kinetic energy is half I3 omega square plus, okay, and next, okay, the last important point is, okay, and I mean, yeah, we have written everything, okay, we have considered pulley 1's kinetic energy, pulley 2's kinetic energy, and pulley 3's kinetic energy, okay. Now once this is done, okay, if energy conservation is valid, okay, then this equation is correct, okay. So here what is my point is, okay, this part is correct, okay, this part is correct, okay, if no energy loss is present in the system, okay, if there is no energy loss, okay, whatever potential energy lost, this part is your potential energy lost. So whatever potential energy that is there, this potential energy lost will be getting converted into its own kinetic energy of this block plus potential energies of, kinetic energies of these two pulleys as well as this third pulley. Okay, and if there is any other equation, okay, whatever you have depending upon the system you can substitute, but in this case this equation is correct if there is no energy loss. Okay, but when scientists have done the experiment, okay, in experiment, okay, in reality, okay, in reality, okay, what exactly has happened is, okay, there is energy loss. Okay, there is energy loss. Okay, how do you know that? When these two terms, left hand side and right hand side terms, are not equal, obviously you will know that there is some energy loss. Okay, that is one thing. Next, if you keep a thermometer within this system, okay, if you add a thermometer, this thermometer, what will it do is, it will measure the temperature difference. So experimentally it was found that, okay, an extra term is needed. Okay, it is not balanced. Okay, so this extra term is your exact heat energy. Okay, it was mass m into specific heat into delta theta. Okay, so this is not done by me. Okay, so as an example I am telling you, but this extra term is your heat energy. Now if this expression is coming like this, okay, you can measure the temperature difference, then this S part is specific heat and M is mass. We will see about it later, but this is your experimental observation. Now if that is the case, when you are adding this extra term that you have here, okay, this extra term that you have here, if it is balancing this equation, that means obviously whatever, okay, mechanical energy, which means that potential energy, kinetic energy that you have on left hand side and right hand side, both sides, that kinetic energy and this heat energy both are related to each other. Okay, so through this experiment, okay, this is an example, okay, you can say that your heat energy is no way different from mechanical energy. Okay, now okay, this is your basic idea. Okay, how do you know that how heat and mechanical energy are related, means this is what you are going to do. Now okay, if this is the case, that means whatever work is being done, that work and, okay, that work that you are doing and this experiment, okay, energy, heat energy, both are related to each other. Okay, so once you know work, once you know energy, okay, you can obviously relate how much heat energy is required to do how much work we can relate it each other. Okay, so from this experiment we have related these two. Now okay, we will discuss how heat is related to work. Okay, that means we are relating heat with work. Okay, so how can you do this? Okay, how can you relate heat with work? Now you can relate heat with work. Okay, you can relate heat with work with this expression, that is your work, whatever you are doing, is directly proportional to your heat energy. Okay, now remember here I am keeping a sign delta Q. Okay, it is change. Okay, so you can only calculate, okay, if you have two bodies, you can only calculate how much energy it is transferring from one body to another body, but you cannot calculate absolute heat energy. Whatever is inside you cannot calculate. You can only say how much this is transferring to this or how much this body is transferring to that body. Okay, so you can only calculate the difference. You cannot calculate absolute heat energy. Okay, so your work that you have, okay, your work that you have is directly proportional to heat energy. Okay, now okay, if you remove the proportionality constant, okay, if you remove the proportionality constant, your work is equal to J times delta Q, or people will write it as work done W is equal to J times H. Okay, this is the common definition that you see in the books. Okay, so this is your relation between work and this is your relation between heat. Okay, work and heat. Now what is this J means? Okay, your J is called mechanical equivalent of, okay, J is your mechanical equivalent. Okay, J is your mechanical equivalent. Okay, mechanical equivalent of heat. Now this J value is, okay, close to 4.186, but for calculational convenience sake we will take it as 4.2. okay, and if you look at the unit, for work unit is joules, for heat the unit is calorie. So your relation, I mean this J unit will be 4.2 joules per calorie. Okay, this is what you are going to get, okay, when you are relating work with heat. Okay, so with this basic idea, I hope you must know what is the relation between work and heat. Okay, right? Now we'll continue further. Okay, so those who want to take down, you can take it down. Okay, right. Now we need to see each term in detail. Okay, so now we'll continue. We'll look into each term in detail. Okay, so basic terms that I'll define. Okay, chapter, so far what I have discussed is introduction. Okay, now chapter flow, what I'll do, I'll tell you. Okay, now so far I have given introduction. Okay, now, okay, first part of the heading is knowing basic terms that you are going to use. Okay, so if you know the basic terms that you are going to use, accordingly, okay, in the end we will be able to solve the problems. So what are the basic terms that I am going to use means, okay, first term that I am going to use is specific heat capacity represented by, okay, symbol S. Okay, next, after specific heat capacity, next term that you have is molar heat capacity represented by symbol C. Okay, then we will see relation between, okay, C and S, that is heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Okay, then followed by, okay, we will see water equivalent. Okay, water equivalent. Then next we are going to see, okay, after water equivalent we are going to see latent heat of, okay, you are going to see latent heat of, okay, fusion and vaporization. Okay, now till here, okay, we will see the basic terms. Okay, wow, why do you all get to know all these terms means, okay, your principle of calorimetry is your ultimate target. Okay, your principle of calorimetry is what you are going to apply for every question in this chapter. So your principle of calorimetry is the ultimate thing. Okay, so final required, okay, final required relation, okay, is your principle of calorimetry. Okay, it is nothing but basically conservation of energy. Okay, now what is that I am going to do is I am going to define each and every term, okay, with explanation in detail, all this part first. Then once you get to know this, Okay, using these terms, we'll try to calculate principle of calorimetry relation. Okay, and then we will apply to mixtures. Okay, finally, after learning principle of calorimetry, we will apply them to mixtures. Okay, you apply them to mixtures. So you mix some hot body and cold body, and you are going to get what is the final temperature. All those relations is what you are going to get. Okay, so this is my chapter outline. Okay, so each term I'll define in detail with units, everything. Okay, and if you get stuck at something, I do want you to pause the video, go back to the clip, and then refer to the content once again. Okay, so we'll start with, okay, basic terms. Okay, so those who want to note it down, you can note it down. Okay, so we'll start with each term in detail. Okay, so first I'll start with specific heat capacity. Okay, so we will start with first term is your specific heat capacity. Okay, so the first term that we are going to see is specific heat capacity of, okay, specific heat capacity of material. Okay, why did I write this material? I will tell you. Okay, it's not substance, it is material. Okay, so why is that? I will tell you. Okay, now if you take specific heat capacity, okay, first you are supposed to understand, okay, if you take a substance, okay, if you take a substance, okay, for this substance, okay, if mass is m, okay, for this substance if mass is m, okay, now what is that I am going to do is I am going to give heat energy to this substance. If I give heat energy to this substance, what happens is this body will absorb heat. Now how this heat energy is related to type of material, temperature, and the mass. Okay, that relation based on experiment, okay, based on experimental result, I am going to write it here. Now once you get to know that, okay, then from heat energy definition we will come to specific heat capacity. Okay, your specific heat capacity of material is represented by symbol S. Okay, now your experimental observation is, okay, your heat energy delta Q, okay, your heat energy given to a body is directly proportional to mass, okay, when type of material, comma, delta theta, this is your temperature difference. Okay, in the books you will be seeing it as delta T, in some books it is delta theta. Okay, this is your temperature difference. Okay, this is your experimental observation. Okay, your heat energy is directly proportional to mass. Okay, I mean if you take a substance based on experiment, okay, you are taking some object, okay, to that object you are adding or you are giving heat energy. So if you are giving heat energy to this object, okay, if you give more amount of heat, if you have more mass, it will obviously take more amount of heat energy. Okay, next, your heat energy delta Q is also directly proportional to temperature difference, okay, when type and mass are kept constant. Okay, when type of material and mass are kept constant, your heat energy is directly proportional to temperature difference. Okay, delta Q is directly proportional to delta theta. Okay, now, okay, your heat energy delta Q is, okay, removing this proportionality constant, you are going to write it as mass m into specific heat S into delta theta. Okay, so what is that you are doing? You are taking a substance of mass m, you are giving some heat energy. So after giving heat energy, experimentally it is observed that your heat energy is directly proportional to mass under these conditions. It is directly proportional to temperature difference under these conditions, and your heat energy finally it is mass m into specific heat S into delta theta. Okay, now many people will directly give you this as the formula. Okay, but I have put it in a logical manner, that's all. Okay, this is a experimental observation, that's all. Now from here, okay, this is your heat energy definition. Okay, this delta Q is heat, M is mass, S is specific heat, delta theta is temperature difference. Now if you take the units part, okay, if you take the units part, okay, for each term, delta Q is calorie or joules, okay, mass will be grams or kg depending upon SI or CGS unit, and specific heat, okay, which we will derive now, okay, and delta theta is, okay, it is degree centigrade or Kelvin, whether it is CGS or SI unit, your temperature difference is going to be degree centigrade or Kelvin. But in entire thermodynamics, mostly it is a good practice, unless otherwise mentioned, except in this chapter, go for Kelvin always. Okay, wherever temperature is there, okay, go for Kelvin. Now one thing that I want you to remember is 1 degree centigrade temperature difference is same as 1 Kelvin temperature difference. Okay, your temperature difference is same in both the scales. Okay, so here in this delta theta, it doesn't matter whether we are keeping degree centigrade or Kelvin. Okay, because both are ultimately going to give you the same results. Okay, so don't worry too much about what is the final unit for temperature. Okay, because it is same, temperature difference is same in both the scales, you don't need to worry. Okay, your delta C is equal to delta K. Okay, that anyhow we have seen in thermal expansion. Now once you get to know this, from this expression, okay, your specific heat capacity, okay, can be defined logically like this. Okay, in the books this definition will be given, that is, okay, if you have, okay, a material whose mass is 1 gram, if you are defining in terms of CGS unit, okay, I have taken mass in grams. If you want in SI unit, take kg, no issues. So your definition is delta Q is equal to M into S into delta theta. Now if you take 1 gram substance and if you change the temperature from 13.5 degrees centigrade to 14.5 degrees centigrade, okay, your delta theta is equal to 1. Okay, so your specific heat can be written as, the definition will be like this. Okay, so if mass is 1 grams and delta theta is 1, this part if it is 1 and this part if it is 1, delta Q is going to be equal to, mathematically it is S. Okay, right? So I'll write it here. If, okay, if mass is equal to 1 grams, delta theta, that is temperature, is equal to 1, okay, then your specific heat, okay, your specific